All right. All right, let's continue. Going through chapter 6 on the Mantis book Python Crash Course on dictionaries. All right, so looping through a dictionary. So we can loop through a dictionary's key value pair, so only the keys or only the values. Okay. So 1 second here. So we got this user here, username, first and last name. Okay, so let me see something. I'm trying to make this a little bit more, a little easier to read. Okay, so Boom, switch monitors on you. Okay, so I know it looks weird because I'm looking off camera. I'll get a webcam so it doesn't look so awkward. But right now, my main screen is too small for me to have the IDE and the book open at the same on the same screen. And I wanted both on the same screen so you can also see it. Otherwise, I'm just talking about things you can't read. Okay, so um, we can look through the dictionary using a for loop so we can see everything that is in it. So if I just going to grab this real quick, throw it in there. All right. So we can access anything in here we already know, right? So if I said, for example, use 0 and I use square brackets, and I know there's a key called username, and I do that and I print it, I'm going to get the value of the username. Um, I could also loop through it. It says for I, use 0, and I could print the username itself. And if I wanted to see everything in there, I could just print everything. So over here, instead of saying I, let's call that value because that's what it is. And then key, call that the key because that's what that is. And then I can just print, I can print the value and I can print the key. That didn't work out. Anyway, we have it kind of backwards, but it doesn't matter. It's still would have been messed up. And the error is for key value use 0, too many values to unpack. The loop is seeing the sequence username first last, but the loop header says key value. Yeah, wait, so items do that. give me each entry as a pair. Okay, bro. All right, so now we got everything, username, etc. Right. Doesn't look great. So yeah, we can fix it up a little bit, do a string literal, and say uh, one's the key and one's something else. So the key is this thing, the key, and le value, this. So we get rid of this, we don't space here, and so to write a for loop for a dictionary, you create names for the two variables that will hold the key and value in each key value pair. There it is, the method. Followed by the method items, which returns a sequence of key value pairs. The for loop then assigns each of these pairs to the two variables provided. So in the preceding example, we use the variables to print each key followed by the associated value. Looping through all key value pairs works particularly well for dictionaries like the favorite languages example earlier, where I had like one person and their favorite language, who stores the same kind of information for different keys. So it's like everybody's favorite number, a bunch of people's favorite pizza, the type of material used every um, for every kitchen built or something for a construction company, right? Because the keys always refer to a person's name and the value is always a language, we'll use the variables name and language in the loop instead of key and value, and this will make it easier to follow what's happening. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So you have this dictionary here, right? It stores um, where was it? It stores the same kind of information for different keys. In other words, the kind of info is all their favorite language, and um, we have different keys which are all people. So we have the same kind of information for all of these people. And if we want to loop through it, right? Then we say for that normally, I can't talk. You'd say for X and whatever the thing was, right? The iterable item like a list, or in this case, a dictionary for X and Dick. But the thing is that here we need the items because items will return this, then this, then this, then this. If I didn't have items and I just said, for example, X, it would return me, the X would stand for this value and it would return Python. Then the X would stand for this value and it will return C. So the items returns the actual key value pair. So now I can put two things here and they will be successfully retrieved. So if I say, print X, Y, does that work? Okay, print X, print Y. because dict is not a thing, bro. So if I say favorite languages, right? Yeah, and also if I did it like this, I believe it should work, shouldn't it? Right. So it works just the same. So here we have so and so's favorite language is blah blah blah. Yeah, well, sure, no problem, right? So we can say name, right? We can say language. I know normally we'd want to be more clear if it was an actual program, but in the interest of brevity. So and so's, so names, and let's do title here. Fave lang is, sorry for the blinding brightness. All right, fave lang is, right? And here we got lang, so we do this, right? John's favorite language is Python, etc., etc. And also, let's do title for this as well. So this code tells Python to loop through each key value pair in the dictionary, and as it works through each pair, the key is assigned to the variable name, and the value is assigned to the variable language. Descriptive names make it easier. Okay, great. Now, in just a few lines of code, we can display all of the information from the poll. This type of looping would work just as well if a dictionary stored the results from polling 1,000 or even 1,000,000 people. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if in reality though, like if you were polling 1,000,000 people, if all of this would be being held in like a one dictionary. It's probably a database, right? I'm guessing. All right, looping through all the keys in a dictionary. The keys method is useful when you don't need to work with all of the values in the dictionary. So let's look at the favorite language dictionary and print the names of everyone who took the poll. So if we print keys, we get just the keys. Okay. What if I did this? Okay, that's not so scriptable. But just for fun, keys looks list-like, but it's not actually a list. That's what I thought. It's a special object called a dictionary view. It lets you loop through the keys, but it does not support indexing. So Python complains because you're trying, okay, so show me a live view of the dictionary keys. It does not mean make me a normal list of keys. If you want first key, you would first convert that to a list. Okay, cool. Right, so now we want to do what? Looping through all the keys. So we want to print all of these. Yeah, no problem. So we're doing for name because it's people, right? For name and Fave Lang, and we are only getting the keys, and then we're going to print just print the name. So this for loop tells Python to pull all the keys from the dictionary favorite languages and assign them one at a time to the variable name. The output shows the names of everyone who took Zippo. Looping through the keys is actually the default behavior when looping through a dictionary. So this code would have exactly the same output. Good point. You can access the value associated with any key you care about inside the loop by using the current key. Yeah, so right, even if you didn't have this here, right? Right now, name refers to the key itself, so you would get the same exact output. You can access the value associated with any key you care about. Care about any of them, bro. Inside the loop. You can access the value associated with any key you care about inside the loop by using the current key. Print a message to a couple of friends about the languages they chose, and then we'll look through the names of the dictionary. But when the name matches, one of our friends will display a message about their favorite languages. Okay, without me actually reading that now, what's he saying? I see you love blah blah. Okay. So we got friends, right? So let's say Jen, Phil. Or name in friends. If name exists, now how do we check if the name, if name in Fave Lang, is that what he did? Yeah. Wait, what? For name in. Let me see something. Jen and Phil both like Python, right? So we got Python. Let me just change this to Sarah. All right. So if Jen is in favorite languages, it's going to print the value, and it'll do the same with Sarah. What we want to say is if the name is in there, then we say, hey, you love whatever language. Hi, name, I see you like whatever language. And how do we access the language? Hi, Jen, I see you like Python. Yeah, and we can make this look nicer. Nicer. All right. So what he did here was friends, Phil, Sarah, forename, print. So he prints hi to everybody. And then if the name, all right. What he did here was for name and favorite languages keys, print F, hi name, title. And then if the name is in friends, look it up. All right, got it. First, we make a list of friends that we want to print a message to, and then inside we print each person's name. Then we check what the name we're working with is in the list of friends. So it prints everybody's name, right? But only if they're in the list of friends in the example, because I skipped this part. Then they determine the person's favorite language, use the name of the dictionary and the current value, and then they print a special greeting. So everyone's name is printed, but only our friends get, the extra message. So, for us, it would be like for name in friends, print, what was it? Hi name, whatever. What did he say? Yeah, okay, hi name. So we have hi name, right? And then, right? And then if name is in friends, you get the special greeting. Hi, Jen. Or, yeah, my bad. Hi, Jen. Hi, Jen. So you like Python? Hi, Sarah. Sarah, so you like C? And then Edward and Phil, they don't get the special greeting because they were not in there. Okay. You can also use the keys method to find out if a particular person was polled. This time, let's find out if Erin took the poll. Specifically here, he's checking if she's not in there to tell her to take the poll. Sure. Okay. So I can say I was checking for a string, right? So we can say, yeah. All right, we got that here. Okay. Then we got Look through a dictionary returns the items in the same order they were inserted. Items were inserted. Sometimes, though, you'll want to loop through a dictionary in a different order. One way to do this is to sort the keys as they are returned in the for loop. You can use the sorted function to get a copy of the keys in the order. So remember, sorted does not actually change anything. It just returns the sorted list, but nothing is saved. Or the sorted dictionary in this case. So over here, can do for name and sorted, right? Print name, thank you for taking the poll, right? And right, thanks for taking the poll. So now these are in alphabetical order, even though here they are not. So you get Edward, Jen, Phil, Sarah, instead of this order. Looping through all values in a dictionary. If you're primarily interested in the values that a dictionary contains, you can use the values method to return a sequence of values without any keys. Let's say you just want the languages chosen. You can say print the following languages that we mentioned. So the following languages were mentioned. And then for lang, well, we only want the values, right? So was it right? So now this stands for these. Yeah, and they just, print. Right. The for statement here pulls each value from the dictionary and assigns it to the variable language. When these values are printed, we get a list of all chosen languages. So this approach pulls all the values from the dictionary without checking for repeats. This might work fine. With a small number of values, but in a poll with a large number of respondents, it would result in a very repetitive list because it doesn't check for repeats, right? Like Python is here twice, right? To see each language chosen without repetition, we can use a set. A set is a collection in which each item must be unique. So the following language for all in set. Oh, okay, so it's a function, and we just call it on that. So this stuff now is going to be a set or not. Yeah, I mean, we made a set out of the actual value. We want to make a set out of the language values. Great. When you wrap set around a collection of values that contains duplicate items, Python identifies the unique items in the collection and builds a set from those items. Here we use set to pull out the unique languages. The result is a non-repetitive list of languages that have been mentioned by people taking the poll. As you continue learning about Python, you'll often find a built-in feature of the language that helps you do exactly what you want with your data. You can build a set directly using braces and separating the elements with commas. So it looks like a list, but it has braces. So if I had, for example, here, that's a set, right? The bot for the other day. It's hilarious. And then I printed bands. Oh, wait. Whole point was we got entombed here twice. See, entombed being mentioned but once. Easy to mistake sets for dictionaries because they're both wrapped in braces, but when you see braces, there's no key value pair, obviously. So you're probably looking at a set. Unlike lists and dictionaries, sets do not retain items in any specific order. Now wait. When it says they don't retain items in any specific order, I know what a specific order is, obviously, but what I'm wondering is a set is mainly for storing unique items, not keeping them in order. So you might get something like Rust. Let's see. First, a duplicate was removed. The order may not match the order you wrote them in. Yeah, okay. What order? It must use some order. No? It's not truly random like dice. Okay. Right. Mental model. A list is for ordered items. A dictionary keeps key value pairs and remembers insertion order in modern Python. And a set is for uniqueness and membership checking. All right. Let's try it ourselves. So let's clean up the code from exercise 6.3. Okay, that's better. All right, so try it yourself. Now that you know how to loop to a dictionary, clean up the code from exercise 6.3 with a loop that runs through the dictionary's keys and values. And you're sure that your loop works, add 5 more Python terms to your glossary. And when you run your program again, these new words and meanings should automatically. Yeah, I don't save these exercises as I go along. Like, should I be? Where was exercise 6.3? Was page 99. Okay. The glossary, right? Right. I'm not going to do a glossary of Python terms. Let me generate a. Okay, I'm going to use this. All right. So, all right, and we were here. Clean up the code from exercise 6.3 by replacing your series of print calls with a loop that runs through the dictionary's keys and values. When you're sure that your loop works, add 5 more Python terms. Yeah, okay. If I add 5 more Python terms, obviously the whole thing is going to work if it works. If the loop is going to work in the first place, right? So we're going to say for term in musical terms. And what was it again? Oh, we were just printing the term and then its definition, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the definition by itself, and I'm going to say musical terms term, right? Actually, let's print this real quick. So this is going to grab indices must be yeah. So what is term? Oh, because this is a list. This is a list. Because I because I generated this real quick with Gemini there. Term Christian. Well, let's do it like this definition. Um, so what we're going to do is let's fix this real quick. Yeah, there we go. So now each term gives us this, right? All right, so we're going to print that glossary, but first let's grab the definition by itself, which is going to be musical terms, and for each one we're grabbing the value corresponding to the term. Right, and term. Okay, maybe mistyped it before. So we have the value, right? So we are printing out, yeah, so actually said, right? And just to be double sure, let's make sure. Okay, And then we're going to write out the dictionary. So we're going to say, so we're going to print out the term. All right, let's do it like this. So we're going to print out the term. And then we're going to have the definition. Not be careless here. Let's not be careless. Um, okay, let's even put a tab. Okay. Let's put a title because why not? There you go. All right, rivers. Make a dictionary containing 3 major rivers in the country each river runs through. One key value pair might be Nile, Egypt, and then use a loop to print a sentence about each river. Print the name of each country. Okie dokie. So let's do rivers real quick here. Three major rivers in a country each river runs through. So like Nile, Egypt. Okay. So we got Nile, Egypt, and say Rhine, Deutschland, and then we got and right, then we have okay, yeah. So we have Nile, the Rhine, and is that the right. So we have Nile, the Rhine, and Changjiang. You want us to do what? Okay. For river and rivers, right? We're going to say the river runs. Oh, that's not going to work. Here, river, country. I'm going to say the river makes it a lot easier, right? Runs through country. And yeah, we can make this title case, right? Could also put the title here. This can't take a function. All right. Use a loop to print the name of each river in the dictionary. For river and rivers, and now we're going to do keys. Print river. Title. Boom. This keys only takes the key value. Use a loop to print the name of each country included in the dictionary. Uh, was there like was there like a way to only get the name? I forgot. Oh, values, right? Rivers. See here? Yeah, okay. So print. All right. Use a loop to print the name of each. Oh, okay. And we're done with that. The name of each river, the name of each country. Uh, use the code in favorite languages. Make a list of people who should take the poll, and then include some names that are already in the dictionary and some that are not. And then loop through the list of people who should take the poll, and if they have already taken it, print a message thanking them for responding. If they have not taken it, print a message inviting them to take the poll. Yeah, okay. So all right, so we got these people, right? And I'm going to make a list of people who should take the poll and include some who already, who are already in the dictionary. So let's just call it people, right? So like Jen is already there. Say Mario is not, right? And then Phil is already in there. And then we'll say Joe, and then we'll say Vinny. Okay, so we got two people that are already in there, two that and three that are not. Look through the list and see who should take the poll. And if they took it, say thanks for responding. And if not, right. So for person and people, so we're taking each one of these, right? If the person is in favorite languages, right? But yeah, okay, now here's the thing now. When we say in, right? So we're saying, is Jen a key, right? So wouldn't I have to do this? Let me see. Yeah, okay. Good. It's only looking at the keys. So if the person is in there, right, we say thanks for taking the poll, person. And we can do title. Yeah, yeah. Okay. But for the other people here, right? Mario, Joe, and Vinny, um, right? We say person, right? Okay. It's a beautiful thing. Now, can we sort this alphabetically? So for person and people, so we got this is what should be sorted. It's going to check them according to alphabetical order, so we would expect Jen, Joe, Mario, Phil, Vinny. Cool.